Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Tech Motoring Pit Stop. On today's episode, we are going to be going over proper tire rotation, how you do it, when you do it, and why you do it. So stay tuned, we're going to be back in just a minute. Now before we get started on rotating tires, first we need to know whether or not we can even rotate the tires. So a couple rules that you have to know before you actually start this process. So first things first, let's talk about tire sizes. Now on a vehicle like this, a Corvette, you typically have what they call staggered sized tires, which means that the tires in the back of the car are a different size than the tires in the front of the car, which means that you cannot move the back tires to the front of the car and vice versa. That means that those tires have to stay on that side of the vehicle. So if you were to have a vehicle that has the same size tires throughout the vehicle, then you can rotate those tires front to back. Now let's talk about tire rotation direction. Now, in the event of these tires, they have a symbol on the side of the tire that says rotation with an arrow. That means that those tires have to be turning into that direction at all times. You cannot move that tire to the other side of the car, because if you do, that arrow now is pointing the opposite direction. And the reason of that is actually because the manufacturer designs the treads specifically to go in that direction. And as you can see here, the way that these treads work is on an angle in order to properly evacuate road debris and water through the treads most efficiently. If you were to put these tires on backwards, you would have an issue evacuating all that debris and water, and therefore your performance will suffer significantly. So that rotation arrow is very important when you have those tires put onto a car. Now, if you were to have rotational tires that were the same size all around the car, then you can always move your front tires to the rear and your rear tires to the front. That would be a proper way of rotating those tires. Now, if you look on your tire and you see something that says outside on it, that means that that tire just has to be placed properly on the wheel outside, which means that if you see outside, then all of your tires should say outside on the outside wall. If you have same size tires all around, those tires can be placed anywhere on the vehicle. And then of course, if your tire does not have any type of designation on whether or not it is outside or rotational, that means those tires can be put at any part of the car. So let's talk about the how to rotate tires properly. Now on a car like this, once again, we have rotational tires and we also have staggered tires, meaning that the sizes are different front and back. When you have a situation like that, that means you are not actually able to rotate these tires. You cannot move the front tires to the rear because of the size difference, and you cannot move this driver's side to the passenger side due to the rotational arrow, which means if you move this to the other side, the arrow would be facing the other way and your rotation would be backwards. Now let's say you have rotational tires, but they're all the same size on the car. Well, now you can move your front tires to your rear and your rear tires to your front due to them being the same size. However, you cannot move the tires from passenger side to driver's side, as then that would reverse your rotational arrow. So let's move on to tires that do not have a rotational designation and are all the same size. Well, in that situation, what you want to do is move the front tires to the rear and move the rear tires to the front. And they even recommend that you can even rotate the tires in the front as well. So you're actually going kind of across the car. Now every vehicle is different, so sometimes they don't recommend doing that. However, you can always refer to your owner's manual in the event that you need to know exactly how to rotate those tires. And the same rules apply to tires that have the outside designation. If they say outside on the tire, that means they can go anywhere on the car, so therefore you do not have to worry about what side of the car or front or rear, just as long as the sizes are the same. So now that we know how to rotate tires, let's talk about why we rotate tires. So there's a couple different reasons as to the purpose of rotating tires. first reason is because of weight. The tires on the front of your car are receiving a different weight than the tires on the back of your car, which means whatever side is heavier causes more tire on the road, and therefore the tires will wear quicker. And of course, if your front tires wear faster than your rear tires, then you have the issue of having to replace your front tires before your rear tires. Whereas if you rotate your tires, they will evenly wear, and then you won't have the tires being done on separate occasions. You can just get them all done at the same time. Now, the other reason we rotate tires is because front tires have a camber in tow, which means that not only do they just turn left and right, but they also have a tendency of leaning in and out. And when that happens, you actually do wear the edges of your tire more than your rear tires would, because your rear tires don't actually move left or right. Unless, of course, you have one of those cars that the rear tires do turn. So over a long period of time, when those tires are constantly turning left and right and pitching in and out a little bit, you do have a tendency of wearing those edges a little bit further. And when that happens, you want to make sure you keep those rotated, move those to the back of the car, so then the tire will evenly wear down again. And last but not least, when do you rotate your tires? Well, there's a couple different ways to know when to rotate your tires. You can refer to your owner's manual, or something I always do, I rotate my tires every time I change the oil. So when I change the oil in the car, I rotate the tires at the exact same time. So whether that be 3,000 miles or 5,000 miles or whenever you change your oil, you'd be rotating your tires at about the same interval. And of course, if you bring your car in for service to get the oil changed or anything like that, you can just have them rotate the tires at the same service. Well, everybody, I hope that helped you out when it comes to the when, the why, and the how to rotate your tires on your car. I will be doing a video in the future of actually rotating the tires to show you that it is a pretty simple process. So stay tuned for that. Of course, don't forget to check us out on our website, techmotoring.com, on Twitter @techmotoring, and facebook.com/techmotoring. We will see you on the next episode, and remember, welcome to the future, and welcome to Tech Motoring. We'll see you soon.